please welcome your host, Kim Crabill.
Hello, everyone. It's so good to see you. Welcome back to Coffee. You know what Coffee stands for? Conversations of Friends of Faith to encourage and equip. Well, today we're going to talk about life at its hardest and hope at its highest, as well as the emotions we encounter along life's unexpected and unwanted journey. Let's begin with this often asked question. Is it possible to experience a roller coaster of emotions at the same time, crying while in deep pain and a deep sense of loss, while also feeling joy and peace, all the while dealing with bouts of anger? Today, we will discover this is indeed the life of grief. Joining us are two incredible moms from a group known as Warrior Moms, who have come together through their shared experiences of great loss, the heartbreaking journey of losing a child. Their resilience shines through in their book, Grieve Like a Mother, Survive Like a Warrior, which is filled with heart-wrenching stories that, while they may break our hearts, also showcase the unyielding strength found in a faith-based community. Though through vulnerability and support, these women have learned to navigate the raging waters of sorrow and joy and heartache and hope. Join us as we honor their courageous stories and explore how they have chosen to live through grief with grace and determination. When we return, we will be joined by these two moms, Michelle Davis and Amy Durham, to talk about their shared experiences of loss. Join us for an inspiring conversation that promises to connect us through shared stories of loss and God's love. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee. We have a very, very special show today. It's my honor to bring out Michelle and Amy. Come on out, friends. Thank you for having us. Come right on over.
Thank you.
Prayers. Come on over. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for having the courage to join us. I've read your book. We've met briefly at a time. I first was introduced to you, American Idol, which we'll show that in just a minute. But we're going to just take a little journey today, and we'll go with it as far as you want. But maybe if you just take a minute, introduce yourselves, and tell us about your child.
Yes, well, I am Michelle Davis, and my son is Carter Davis. He was murdered on the first day, which should have been the first day of his senior year, alongside a friend of his. So he was 17, and he was just bigger than life. He was my sunshine. He was just, full of adventure and sweetness. If he told me that he loved me 3 times, he also would tell it maybe 10 times a day. I'm not exaggerating. He just had a giant heart, and he did the same thing for his friends. He's greatly missed, for sure.
I know. Thank you for sharing
Yes.
that.
Hey. No, I'm Amy Durham, and my son is Alec Davis. He passed away at the age of 24. He was actually a recovering addict, and he was doing great. He had been sober for 22 months, living a great life in recovery. And for some reason, it was a beautiful day outside on May 4th in 2019. He decided to drink and drink until he passed away. That's what happened. He drank until he passed out and fell into a pond and drowned. There again, I don't know why, but he was, like I said, he was 24 years old, living a good life. He was, every parent raises their kids waiting for them to be an adult so you can live the good life, and we were living the great life growing up. He loved everything that boys that were born in 1995 love: Batman, Yu-Gi-Oh, Power Rangers, all the fun things. I was a single mom until he was 11, so we had a unique bond like no other. So we raised each other and enjoyed each other. So.
Well, thank you all so much for joining me. It takes a lot of courage. I know I talk to a lot of women who say, you know, they admire you and what you're doing, but they're saying, I don't know how you ever get there. And that's what you all are doing, aren't you? Isn't that your goal? Let's talk about what is your goal?
Yeah, gosh, the Warrior Moms is a community that two of our now really close friends created just out of need. They found each other and met for dinner early in their loss of their children, and they realized this is what we need. And very quickly, someone told them, oh gosh, I know another mom, and I know another mom, and it just spiraled, and it's just in kind of the Roswell.
The North Atlanta area. And I think we have over 150 that are members of our, but we probably have about 20 to 30 that come on a regular basis.
Well, they say grief is only love that has no place to go.
Yes.
You all have heard that so many times. And I so admire those who can take that grief and say, okay, what would you have me do with this, God? What would you have me do? What is your plan in this? How do I carry on? And because we were talking about the roller coaster of emotions.
Right.
And so God really, as you set this up, God really gave you such an exposure that we're going to talk about, we're going to show on American Idol.
Yes.
And so let's look at the story and come back to that, because, you know, when God breathes onto something, he expands it, and he expanded your territory right here to reach a lot of people. So let's watch this.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I have a special student of mine, Slater Nally, and he wrote a song for my son that was killed 8 years ago. I had written a poem, and the second year that I taught him, I asked, you know, would you mind looking at the poem? I'd love to see, you know, what your thoughts are and how you turn a poem into a song. And so he did, and 2 weeks later, he wrote the song, and that's what he's gonna sing today.
Good. Tell us who you are.
I'm Slater Nally. I'm 17 from Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Talk about the song for us.
This song's called Traces of You. I wrote it for Carter Davis. That's probably the most deep thing I've ever written, 100% the most deep thing I've ever written about. I didn't know Carter before any of this happened, and when Miss Davis told us, I just felt this presence come into my life, essentially.
For Slater to not have known Carter and to write this song is just, it felt like there was light and hope in the middle of it too.
Your laugh was like a river running home. That crooked smile made people talk, you know, about the boy whose eyes flickered like the light before it goes. Your laugh was like a river running home. In the dark nights you always found the sun. One look at you and I just come undone. Now you visit me in shadows I can't reach and I can't run. In the dark nights you always found the sun. The moment breaks and you appear, and for a second I swear you're standing right here. I'd give anything for love to be enough to make it true. As the memories come racing into view, these traces of you. Somewhere past the sky, I can feel you dancing in the air. Every you're answering my prayers. Moment breaks and you appear, and for a second I swear you're standing right here. I'd give anything for love to be enough to make it true. As the memories come racing into view, these traces of you. Traces of you. Your life was like a river running home. That crooked smile made people talk, you know.
Every single person that hears that can fill in that memory with somebody that's in themselves. And like, I couldn't have imagined you doing that any better.
Thank you very much. Seriously.
That one line, your life was like a river running home. God, the blues, man. That's the one.
I know.
1, 2, 3. You're going to Hollywood.
You know, I look at that, and I think that we see a picture of grief. You see the tears, the depth of despair. You see the sharing. You see the laughter. You see the tension relieved a little bit. You see how it relates to others. You see so many elements in that one piece. Tell me, how did you get through that?
Well, really, faith, humor, I think just a pouring into my students that I love to do. And so I really was there that day to be Slater's teacher. And I was carrying, of course, Carter and my family with me, but I was in that room with him as his teacher, and I was so grateful that he was honoring Carter that way. And really from the beginning of losing Carter, God really breathed through my husband and I that we are just going to have to say yes, that we, to anyone that was offering help. And this is just a small part of that is, you know, I could have said, hey, I wanted to know how you turn this poem into song. And Slater immediately was like, wait, you wrote a poem for Carter? Can I take a picture of it? And I could have said, oh, that's private. No, that's too personal. But instead I said yes. And then when American Idol asked us, will you please come and be a part of this? It was like, yes. And then, will you introduce him to the celebrities? It was like, yes, I don't know how I'll do that. But, and that's really been a big mantra of ours is you just have to lean into it and listen to those God nudges because we've just been absolutely amazed the way that God is using us.
Yeah. To minister to the deepest pain that I think that anyone on this face of the earth could ever. I mean, you saw Carrie Underwood and the guys. I mean, there's such a pain. Is that? Do you have a mantra like that? Just say yes, or how?
My mantra is I can do anything for 5 minutes. As in, I slept a lot. You know, I was just grief exhausted me, especially at the beginning, and it still does on random Tuesdays.
Yes.
But you know, there's laundry that still needs to be done. There's a kitchen that still needs to be cleaned. There's still children to raise and a husband to feed. And that's where it's kind of like I can do anything for 5 minutes. I can put the clothes in the washing machine, and then I can go back later and put them in the dryer. Yeah. I might only get one load of clothes done in a day, but that's okay.
But that's progress.
That's progress, and it only takes 5 minutes to do that. And a lot of times, if you keep going for 5 minutes, it turns into 10, and then you feel a little bit.
You know, I've worked with people before that the big progress of the day was just getting their teeth brushed.
Yes.
Right?
That's
You understand.
exactly
You
right.
understand
Yes.
that, don't
Yes.
you?
Yes.
That's grief. So tell me, for our audience that are listening, that are sitting out there, and they know what this is like. Tell us about the roller coaster of emotions that you deal with probably on a daily basis and how you have learned to navigate those.
It is a true shattering of yourself, your heart, your faith in losing a child. And it's, you have to just be so intentional about leaning into your faith and your family and those that can help you. And that roller coaster is huge. I mean, my daughter was 8 at the time, and we had put her back into school right away just for routine, and I wasn't back to school yet, and we were driving to school, and she said, "Mom, you're just so lucky you got Carter for 17 years. I only had him for 8. And I was like, ooh, just, you know, the words of a child. And then she said, "When are you going back to work?" "I'm back at school." And I thought, oh, blessed child, that is true. Yeah. And I realized right then and there that I'm gonna have to find the deepest grit that I can grab onto, and I need to face it, and I need to share my story. And that's really why we wrote this book, is the Warrior Moms. There is just something special about the intentional living, because grief will just take over.
Swallow you whole.
And so to get to joy, you have to really and truly work at it.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about this book. I love the title, Grieve Like a Mother, Survive Like a Warrior. Man, that right there, that's a mantra. So tell us how this title came to be.
Well, grieve like a mother. I mean, you lose a child. I think that's self-explanatory. You lose a child and you're grieving. That is just what you're going to do. But you have to survive like a warrior. You have to put on, you know, a lot of times you have to look deep within, and you put on that smile even though you don't feel it. You know, we go to take our children to school and we smile, and you have to fight. You have to fight. You have to be intentional. You have to decide what you're going to do that day. You have to decide, I am going to fight. And that's what it is. A lot of times we feel like we are wearing superhero capes. There's some days that I wear my cape as a cape and I'm flying through the grocery store aisles and just life. And then there's other days that I'm laying down on the floor covered up in my cape.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you can use your cape however you want. You can decide how you're going to use it.
And Amy is really good at another sort of mantra that she carries and reminds us all, is just to feel the feels.
Yes.
That is part of that, is to give yourself that grace to sit in it. And I think that's part of...
Don't live in it, but you can sit there and you can stay there for a minute. But then you have to make that decision. And
Love that. I love that. As you've gone through this very personal type of grief and journey, let's talk about some things that other people did that really helped you, and maybe some things that people did that maybe they should not do. I know that the intention is always good to help, but let's help others with that, if you would. So what are some good things? Well, let's start with what are some things they could stay away from, and then we'll go to the good thing.
I think just a simple thing to stay away from is what we all say. I know I said it too, is just let me know what you need. We're glad to help you.
instead,
there is zero way that I could have said, I need XYZ.
Because you didn't know what you needed.
No.
Instead, send groceries to their house.
So just do something.
Just do something, anything. Grief groceries, you know, casserole dishes. We're good in Southern women, you know. Yes. Well, most of us are. She's from South Dakota.
That's right.
But yes, but just do it. Yeah. Just do something.
I like that.
Also, not asking about our children. I think that's so common. It's not a criticism. It's just, you know, people worry that if you ask about, oh, tell me about Carter and Halloween, let's say, that's coming up. That, you know, people often say, well, I just don't want to make you sad. I mean,
I don't want to remind you.
Remind you. I mean,
like you forgot.
We forgot. We did not forget. We think about our children more now than we have ever thought about them when they were alive. I promise.
Yeah. And
so you're not reminding us.
Right. And it's just always under there. And it's such an honor to have somebody remember that and to walk that with you, even if it's just a short little story that they're experiencing with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in all this, thank you all. You are sharing so much. Thank you so much. In all this, how did this group form, the Warrior Moms? Because to me, and it is faith-based, right? So your faith is a big part of this healing. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know how people do it without their faith.
Well,
I'll be honest with
yes, I agree. I agree. So tell us a bit, for someone who might be out there who has suffered this loss, how could they join you? What can they do?
Well, if they're in the North Atlanta, we have a website, warriormoms.me, and there's a contact us page.
Okay.
We are also on Facebook and Instagram. So it's a matter of just reaching out and connecting with us. There isn't any fees. There isn't, a real structure we meet other than we meet on the third Thursday. One of our goals for Amy and I with this book is just helping to create other Warrior Mom groups.
Yes.
And
Everywhere.
Oh, good.
and so, we've had people on our podcast that, one that's in Chicago and one that's in Minnesota, and they're like, can you please come? We're like, yes, absolutely. We would love to help others to create that community because it's essential.
Yeah. And we've found community. Community is key, and that's what having each other together. And that's where you feel like you're on an island a lot of times, all alone.
So if I were out there, I would say, we got 1 minute. I would say, how can community help? How can talking about this tragedy help? How would you answer that question?
I think it's literally, I can walk in a room and look at Amy and she can know if I've had a bad day. We were on a call last night on a Zoom call, and instantly she could tell that I had just had a couple hard days. And so I don't even have to say, I can say what made it the hard day, but then she knows that it's compounded, of course, with the grief. So it's just having that shared experience of such an enormous loss.
I think one of my biggest things is I say, Alec's birthday is coming up, and everybody immediately knows that feeling.
Yes.
And if you haven't lost a child, we're celebrating a birthday without them here. You just can't explain it.
And I think the other part of Warrior Moms is the joy. I have told this before, but walking up to a Warrior Moms meeting, I truly thought I was at a birthday party, a wine club. I did not. It was so joyful and loud and laughing, and I thought, oh my gosh, what in the world? And I also was like, if this is the one, these are my people. And there is that just being able to laugh and share silly things as well as knowing the grief we carry.
Yes. The roller coaster of emotions that you deal with. We're going to break for just a minute, and we're going to come back with some more words for some moms, things that you would say to them to help end that hurt this moment. All right, we'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This book, Grieve Like a Mother, Survive Like a Warrior, and we have the authors, well, you all compiled it together. It's 14 stories of warrior moms who have walked the walk that you have. And you know what I like about, one of the things I like about it is at the end you put the stories of the moms who couldn't finish the story. The grief just got to be so much, and what a way to honor them. So I'm sure everyone will want to grab a copy so that we can know how to pray. We learn so much from your words. So thank you all for being here and for what you're doing, because this is a real hurt that only you who have walked through this really know what it's like, and the roller coaster of emotions and the things you go through. So for those who are sitting out there today, like I'd said before, what's like a final thought of hope maybe that you would give to them?
I would say, and there's a couple of things that immediately come to mind. The first thing I think is don't be afraid to share your story, that it's a human experience. We all carry deep pain, and ours, of course, came out of the normal trajectory of life. It cut things differently. But when I am brave enough to say what happened, just that bond, somebody shares their loss, and there is just this beauty that happens between humans. I see it with my students that I'm vulnerable, and all of a sudden there's this space for kids to share happy and sad things with me, and humans do that. And so even though it's hard, it's incredibly hard to sit at a soccer game and they're like, how many children do you have? And you choose to tell your story.
Yes.
And it's pretty powerful.
So
So hope, I think, comes in that human connection.
Yes, really talking.
And hope for me, I think, and hope for others is, I don't want to say paying it forward, but not allowing their death to be in vain. Like, I know that we advocate for recovery, addiction recovery. We advocate for education about addiction, and it's, that. We also don't let Alec's memory go away. We eat pizza on his birthday, and we ask, and other people eat pizza, so that way whenever they're eating pizza, they think about, Alec. So, and that's just kind of the letting their legacy live on through you. A lot of moms, I know,
And thinking
that
about,
find hope.
what is something that your child loved doing, and that could be as simple as, you said, like eating pizza, but it also could be Amy creates an event that's around that, around Alec's birthday. I've created a lacrosse, just a pickup game that's really fun. And lots of other things, that there's
Your
by
pain.
pouring into, like what would Carter love, what would Alec love, it brings such joy to see other people
Your purpose
having
is
fun.
in your pain and the fact that you're helping others spread joy.
I have a conference called Voices of Hope, and that's what you all have become. You're walking through the pain, and while you are walking through that pain, you are definitely a voice of hope. I think about Carter, and I think about Alex, and I think, not trying to put words on anything, but I think if they could see their moms, they would be so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
And I think that they would just be going, go, Mom, you really are a warrior. And what a thought to know that you're finishing, and you're finishing strong. You're helping others to finish strong. And one day, we're going to all be together again. What a day, right?
I know.
What a day.
And at the back of the book, like you had talked about, we have Bible verses and quotes and things that really carried us. And I know a common verse that Amy and I talk about is, I can do all things through Christ who brings me strength. And that's what we're talking about today.
That's
is
it.
if you dig into that faith and family and love, God will just lead you to do some really powerful things.
And that's the perfect way to close out our show. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much for joining us.